What was your most embarrassing moment? I was in my kinder class and there was a boy, we will call him Kevin, that always shit himself. My teacher smelled something funny and asked us all who did it. Kevin's best friend, let's call him Jorge, came to Kevin's rescue by going around the entire class and sniffing everyone's ass from the chair they were sitting in. He smells Kevin's ass and says, "Oh, it's not him, he smells like fruit roll-ups." Then he smells my ass and tells the teacher I shit myself. So the teacher makes me come up to her desk and turn around and proceeds to look down my pants. I was clean. It was Kevin. I'm scarred for life. That is horrific. Why on earth did the teacher allow that? Man, I've had so many it's hard to choose just one. Sophomore in high school in biology, when I suddenly need to use the bathroom, they always had us use sign-out sheets, so I was signing myself out right in front of my crush's desk. I bent over and arched my back so he'd have a real nice view of my ass in my American Eagle jeans, even wiggled it a bit. I was a flirt. Get to the bathroom and realize I was just wagging around my period-stained ass for the whole world to see. And it was really bad too, like Flag of Japan bad. Had to wear my friend's sweatshirt around my waist the rest of the day. And I definitely know my crush saw it because he was a really nice guy and said something to my female teacher while I was gone so she could let me know, cringing all over again. Wow, similar thing happened to my from the guy's perspective. I was probably about 15 or 16 and I was sitting outside school with an adorable girl that I really liked. We were sitting cross-legged, facing each other, and she happened to be wearing tight, white cut-off jeans shorts. Being a young man, my gaze naturally dipped down from gazing into her eyes as she was talking, and I realized that she had bled all over the crotch of her white shorts. Badly, as you said, Flag of Japan bad. I actually didn't say anything for a minute because I didn't know what to say. I was a very self-conscious guy, so I just knew how this situation was going to mortify her when she realized. I actually thought about pretending I hadn't seen anything and leaving, but there were some real jerks in my school and I knew one of them would make her miserable if they saw it. I decided to let her know, but I had no idea how to do it so as not to make the situation any worse. Finally I just said something like, I think you should go talk to Sue. Sue was one of the teachers. You have a problem. And I kind of gestured for her to look down. As I had feared, she was mortified. I could see it in her eyes the second I gestured for her to look down. Before she even looked and saw for herself, I could tell from her eyes that she just knew what had happened. I was mortified too, for her. I couldn't help but put myself in her shoes and know just how she must be feeling. We got up right away and walked into the school. The office was very close and I walked behind her trying to block the view so no one else would see. Once we got to the office door, I disappeared as quick as I could because I assumed that my continued presence could only make her more uncomfortable. After that we didn't talk much. I think she was so embarrassed about it that she was uncomfortable around me. Over the years I've wondered if I could have handled it better somehow. If maybe she thought I took off so fast because I was grossed out or laughing about it or something. Anyway, your comment about the guy in your case being a nice guy gives me some hope that maybe the girl in my case did understand that I was just trying to be a nice guy. The worst was on a busy Saturday where I had 3 funerals and a wedding to play as organist. By the time the wedding finally arrived after the 3 funerals were over, I must have been tired, or daydreaming, because I played funeral procession music as the bride entered the church, rather than the trumpet voluntary, as scheduled. Sounds like a shrewd wedding. Married in our graves. Back in HS sitting at a girls' basketball game when I sit down next to one of the cool guys. I'm trying to be social with him and we start to chat it up about the girls. Well, there is one girl on the team who had hypotrichosis, no hair on her entire body. I lean to him and say, well, that can't be all bad, right? Give him the nudge nudge wink wink. He straight face looks at me and says, that's my sister. Most awkward silence of my HS years. Yeah, well, most girls would kill not to have to shave their legs. At my little brother's funeral I kept asking people, why is my brother in a box? Where's he going? I was 10, which makes it even worse. TBH, no one told me that he'd passed away, so I was just confused. No one told you that your brother had died? I think that's on them, not you. It was probably the shock of the situation that had you asking questions. Sorry for your loss. Thanks, I understand why they didn't now. It was a shock to them because it was so fast. He came home and passed the same day. Underdeveloped heart. Oh, when you said little brother I imagined him being like 5 years old. I think not telling you in that situation would have been a little messed up. As I was leaving an interview, I shook hands and said thanks, turned and walked into a wall. Everyone around lost it. Edit, was an interview for university, I was accepted in. Got degree. I was on a school trip to a preschool and I had bad gas. I was chilling on the floor and this little girl jumped on my stomach and I ripped ass so fucking hard. I'm sorry but that's hilarious. But he probably had something dead inside him. I crochet and my old boss at work asked me for a scarf. He requested lilac, which I thought was odd, but he was super insistent and even sent me a color chart pointing out the exact shade he wanted. I bought the yarn and made him a scarf, but then ran into him and mentioned the scarf again and he started cracking up saying he was joking. Definitely embarrassing but I'm glad I didn't actually bring it with me and give him the scarf only to find out he was being an asshole. I wound up giving it to another coworker who was watching the whole thing play out and she was super appreciative. Should have charged him for the woolen labor, dick. This is one of those occasions when a person could really suck the air out of the room and just make it super awkward. No, I definitely made it for you. I spent a lot of time on it and bought the materials. I definitely don't think that you, in a management position, would ever ask for us to perform wasteful and time-consuming tasks that you weren't serious about. I will leave the scarf on your desk tomorrow. Walked halfway across campus before a random dude let me know that I had a string of toilet paper hanging out of the back of my pants. There was poop. Just kill me. I always wonder how this happens. Please describe your wiping methods in detail. I'll be waiting patiently. Edit, my inbox is now a literal shithole. Please describe your wiping methods in detail. I'll be waiting patiently. That time I left school while chatting to friends and spotted my mom's car, got in said car and uttered the usual thanks for picking me up mom only to realize that it was not in fact my mom's car, but a complete stranger in their family. Were they good sports about it at least? I kinda sat there for a minute staring while my brain came to the decision that yes, this is indeed the wrong car, perhaps I should get out? The dad just said wrong car and I left and pretended that nobody saw my horrifying mistake. I had a customer who was holding and examining an awkward, fragile, and expensive item with one hand. I asked her to please hold it with two. She turned to look at me. She only had one arm. You know, out of all the great answers in this thread this is the one that actually made me laugh out loud. I can almost picture your face as she turns around. 6th grade all-day field trip to SeaWorld Orlando. Surprise period through my white shorts. All the moms who wanted to help only had tampons. I was 11 and had no idea how to use them. There ensued an embarrassing crash course. I was devastated until random dad saved the day by giving me his windbreaker to tie around my waist and told me to go have fun. Thanks random field trip dad, you saved the day. What a great story of human kindness. Not all heroes wear capes. Windbreakers are twice as useful. I went to an interview once where one of the two people interviewing me asked if I knew French. I said I knew core French, so they decided to conduct the interview completely in French. I can understand when someone speaks French to me. I can read and write fluently in French, but I can't for the life of me speak French. It was so bad that one of the interviewers got up and left halfway through and didn't come back. Needless to say, I didn't get the job. Edit, I was drenched in sweat by the end of it. Never forget it. Edit, I'm not trying to criticize or hate on French people, it was just a sweaty situation I slipped myself into that forever changed me. I have become one with cringe. On my CV I always write that I can read and write in French instead of saying that I speak it because this sounds terrifying. I haven't spoken French in a good while, but I watch films and read it etc. Once created a painting for a friend, hung it up on the door to my apartment as a surprise. It was easily bypassed. He asked, "What's with people around here? You let people put shitty vacation ads on your door?" Never again. For those asking, I live in West Virginia. It was a painting of one of our favorite spots we would seek when hiking. This happened in Morgantown and it's called Blue Hole, not really sure of the actual name of the river. He showed me the place. Lots of people go swimming there, but he knew a secret spot. It was a view from the exit of the trees of our favorite area. Honestly, a lot of people had things like that in Morgantown and around the state, which is why I think he easily overlooked it. I did not tell him at that time. I was so embarrassed I was glad he didn't figure it out. Eventually I did tell him when we were drunk, yay liquid courage, and I could see everything click in his head. He was sorry but we've gotten past it. Edit for spelling and context. One night after going to a concert with one of my friends and I dropped him off at his house, as he was getting out of the car, he started looking for something. When I asked him what he was looking for, he said, "I think I lost my weed." He had about a half an eighth left in a baggie, and gave up after looking around a bit, concluding he lost it at the show. Cut to 10 minutes later, and I, on the way home, got pulled over for not coming to a full stop at a stop sign. As the cop approached the car, the thought of my friend's lost bag crossed my mind. The cop went through the usual routine, asked for my license and registration, asked where I've been that evening, have I had anything to drink, is there anything in the car he needed to know about. I answered everything flawlessly, but then as he's standing there, I see something catch his eye as he's looking in, and he shined a flashlight inside on it, and asked, "What's that?" I died inside when I looked over and saw, perfectly framed in the spotlight, my friend's bag of weed on the passenger side floor. How he didn't find it while looking around I'll never understand. Somehow, I was able to articulate my case that it wasn't my weed but my dumbass friend's well enough that he took pity on me and just confiscated it and let me off with a warning for that, plus a $70 ticket for the stop sign.